Hello and welcome to another Nimble video tutorial. So I have a lot to show tonight and we're going to get right into it. On my last video, I demonstrated the dynamic digest cycle for Nimble. And I mentioned that you should probably spend a little more time working on the part of the application or surface that's going to digest the data to make sure that it was responsive. So I did a quick example. I wanted to show you a quick example of what I mean by that. This is a similar image in, surnames, first name and last name of a responsive component. And basically simply by laying out each of the text boxes in a ratio of width as the image, they will make sure they collapse clean and responsive. It's just some small tricks you can do to make sure your layouts are responsive as you use Nimble. I wanted to demonstrate that so that you had an example. Everything about Nimble works on two sides. There's the engineering coding side, and of course there's the design side. And the design side is basically eye candy. So I spent a little time today building layouts. As a part of my weekend ritual, I usually hop on Pinterest and sit in front of Nimble and I just copy what I see the pros do. Anything that appeals to me, I try to imitate in Nimble just to make sure I stay up on how people design layouts. So I wanted to show you a few that I created. This is a nice little calendar login interface. One of my favorite parts about Nimble is the fact that it's a nice sketchboard, and you can extend your work outside the confines of a div or a container. And I spent a little time playing with a lot of the transparency water effects, trying to make realistic water effects on the web. This one is probably one of my favorites. It's just an airplane background image, but I added a frosted glass panel for the login screen. I thought this was really nice because all this stuff is reusable. Once you build it, you just rip it out, copy it out, and paste it anywhere you want to use it. I saw a poem called The Sunset, added a nice little slightly transparent banner, brought in an image, and then of course put the poem on the side panel. Just playing around with layouts and seeing how well Nimble would be able to reproduce what I was seeing. This is a nice little, using like a test tube effect over a nice little scenery. I thought it was pretty. It came out better than I expected it would. Curved div with a semi-transparent overlay. Really nice effect. And it kind of speaks for itself. Nimble solutions. Endless possibilities. So let's get into the core of what this is all about. I mentioned before that this season was about my dynamic server API. This is a one-of-a-kind thing. I've never seen this done. Hopefully I'm the first. This is a JSON controlled server specification. I'm going to try to go over, I'm not going to go over the entire specification because I already have it up and running. I'm going to go over the meat of what this is all about. Basically, from this JSON file, you can specify a full service endpoint. It's inspired by Oracle packages, but also including the server communications part using Node.js. Each definition, of course, has a name. You can give it a name. It has the app name. This is the unique name for the service. It tracks a version, and you get a nice key. This security key will secure, or it uses a blockchain technique of registering this definition on the server so that it can never be tampered with. Editing this file invalidates the key and the server will reject it. This was necessary because part of this definition uses evaluators, safe evaluators. The define method is what we're going to talk about, but the server has an init destroy. You create tables, you can clear out the tables, you can populate data in the tables. Particularly the services table will specify all of these endpoints, and they're registered. but we're going to focus on the define method. This define method is an API endpoint that it serves as a mock for your server. It allows you to just take in a simple condition, a define. You can check for the API that was called, in this case names, and then return a data set, a mock data set back. And that's so that Nimble can digest it and then bind it to the UI. Once you set up a mock, you basically know how the server is going to respond. In this case, I have this template called names. When you call the names API in the server, it's going to give your first name, last name, and an age. And we're going to demonstrate that because we have the server up and running here. So let's give it a try. I've called this once. I send in the session ID. The schema is the how-to tutorial. The app name, how do I? And we're going to use the the API names, we're going to call it. When we send the data, I think my server's froze. There we go. It sent the first name and last name back. The beauty of this JSON specification is I can now add middle name to the mock, save this file. Now that I've made an edit to this JSON definition file, the server will reject it because it does not match the hash key that's attached in the file. So we have to register it. Using my Secure API plugin, I'm going to register the how do I application on my local host, select the schema, and push it. It sees that the schema name is already defined. Do I want to update it? I'm going to say yes. And I've just updated the schema to 1.92. It tracks all versions. You'll see that your key change and your version has been updated to 1.92, and the server is now updated with the new spec. So what does that mean? If I just hit send, I get my new mock field instantly from a definition file. As I said, this entire front end and back end implementation for this app is complete. So let's give it a look. I like to make sure you can see the server as it's running. When I start the app in the dashboard, you get of course a little title page, and it instantly starts the application. This is the replacement app for my Nimble tutorials. I will be able to, of course, alphabetically create tutorials for Nimble, attach videos, and also allow users to send comments, add ratings, and make requests for new tutorials. It's an interactive guide for everything regarding Nimble best practices. So let's look around a little bit. I have a few tutorials, only put a few sample files here, but you can see comments or digest it. If I want to add a new comment, it automatically appends to the end. You can bookmark any of the tutorials here, and it goes into whatever your login email session. It manages your bookmarks. You can see the 2 bookmarks I have. If I add a new tutorial, the new tutorial will appear. It is not bookmarked. It has no votes. It is under it's of course linked to under the A index. So if we click on it, you'll see it's added. It has no comments, but we can edit the bookmark. And let's say we want to move this under the B index. When we save it, it disappears. It appears under the B index. I can bookmark it. You can see my new bookmark. It still has no votes. I can vote on it and change my vote. View new tutorials, and alter the vote. And the best part about this, you will notice how it digests back and forth between each panel. So if we look at, if we wanted to edit this tutorial, the data loads, and if I wanted, I have, the comments are disabled, so I can't make a comment on this post. But let's say I wanted to change the title. When I save it, it updates the tutorial. If in my bookmarks, it's updated. What else can we show? Can I show you? Oh, you can request tutorials. But the best thing about this application, I think, is because it's still responsive. So as you size the dialog, it behaves like a normal web page, but it's still running on the Nimble kernel. So I added this pop-out button. Once you click that button, the app pops out and it becomes draggable like a desktop application. I thought that's a really nice feature that sets Nimble apart, because if you have a desktop or launcher with multiple apps, you could pop it out, maximum, or make it full screen. It will behave like what people are used to, you know, regular web page apps, but it's still running on an operating system style kernel. And that's basically everything. This is a CK editor I have running here, which always adds a nice effect to your apps. That's it. Full stack. Front end, multiple digest cycle, voting, bookmarks, session control, secure server definition file, and a dynamic API engine to boot. This API will let engine or server will allow me to build, quickly stand up applications with full API endpoints, and then lay out a front end in Nimble very quickly. As promised, as I continue to use Nimble, the amount of work, the apps that I can build, and the quality will improve exponentially. And I hope, you know, I'm holding true to that statement. The best is yet to come. Thank you for watching.